What's up, all you beautiful guys and gals? Hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to the Respawn Recap. Hope you guys all enjoy. You ready?
Sure, I guess.
Let's get into it, folks. And one of the more controversial stories this past week, we do have two separate videos on this. It was actually TSM trying to break the record for fastest hiring and firing, this time in the Valorant space, that being for their newly announced female roster. It was actually within 2 days of signing one of those members, that being Lunar Cats, where she was mysteriously removed from the roster entirely.
And, I mean, on record, like you said, they tried to break the record, but they failed.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to try and break Cloud9's record with General Sniper of 2 frickin' hours, at least try a bit harder.
Right, like, come on. Like, you should have known when you were signing. Like, you should have just been ready. Just immediately,
obviously,
sign in the trash.
If you're going for a record, know how to break it. Jokes aside, clearly, guys, it did not work as I would say the community does. I wouldn't say deserve a response, but with all of the reactions out there, I think it was bound to happen that something was going to give. This time around, Lunar Cats taking to a later stream to explain it was actually a Snapchat video stemming back to 2019, where she clarifies no racial slurs were said. It was a Snapchat rant involving fast food workers, and that's all we really know.
I find it interesting that, like, I mean, you know, I'm sure they do their due diligence, but like to see someone signed and then so quickly for something like that back in 2019, get it turned around on them. And it was so quick of a turnaround. Like, did they not do any digging beforehand? Like, how did they not realize that she had things like this?
We do see this from time to time. Once you get signed, these things resurface. I've covered this probably at least a couple of handfuls of time in the past year and a half alone. It just seems when you're put on that platform, put on that pedestal, things just resurface that you didn't know about. She was super apologetic and not blaming TSM in this. I don't blame people, though, for being kind of confused as to no real clarification from TSM on the details of that video. Overall, it's a sucky situation for both sides, certainly, and TSM is now moving forward with a replacement for Lunar Cats on their female Valorant roster. And a story that you have covered, probably will continue to cover once it does come to an end, that being the never-ending Twitch stream. You guys already know who we're talking about, that being Ludwig, just previously, days ago, breaking 100,000 subscribers and becoming the #1 most subscribed to Twitch streamer. As of us recording, I believe that number's past 110,000, and of course, the earnings continue to skyrocket, something we'll talk about in a second here, but I mean, it is literally insane to realize when he started this, he maybe was thinking, I just want to get my sub count back a little bit, you know, right. I've been off for a little bit of time. Anyone would have guessed that this man is sleeping full days, working out, eating, and still just non-stop streaming.
Yeah, you said that he passed over 100K, probably up to like 110K at this point. Crazy also because he said that he's going to donate. That means he's gained 80K subs. He was at 20K when he started. And so he's gained 80,000 subscribers, and he said that he's going to donate $1 for every sub that he gained to charity. And then like we watched a video about him and how much he's giving away overall.
It's
like
insane.
He loses a lot to taxes, and then he gives away a lot to charity, and then also he's paying his moderators. And so like he ended up with not that much money.
Yeah, I think as of right now, he's actually making a video to give us more details because it is quite complicated. He himself has clarified after write-offs, a lot of that money will come back. And of course, the exposure now, giving away the money in the short term is worth what he has gained for the long term, which is certainly true. So he's clarified that. He'll be posting a longer video because I think at the point of us recording, it's around $450,000. And some reports were saying he's keeping around like $3K to charity, to mods, and a lot of money going out. But again, like he says, the attention is certainly worth the long term. We're talking about it. Everyone's talking about it. And we'll see if he ever stops or if he reaches his 31-day cap. And a bit of a spicy one from a stream out there. It's actually Shahzam following Sentinels' win of the first North American major. It's been incredible to see the growth of Sentinels, especially given the recent controversy, TenZ standing in. There's a lot of talking points around that roster. Shahzam just adds to that one this past week as he takes to a Twitch stream to talk about 100 Thieves stretching back to First Strike at the latter half of 2020, where Sentinels, yeah, they had their run and they still were a very dominant, very good North American team. Following a loss to 100 Thieves, it was them, including Steel, taking to Twitter to trash talk, which Shahzam references was also around the same time he lost his father. And that he always, at least in his opinion, that was something that he cannot respect that they did.
Difficult too because like on 100 Thieves side, that was their first, outing as a Valorant team. It was huge that they came out and they won it, and everyone was like, "What?" Like, imagine the hype surrounding them in the 100 Thieves complex. Like they just won their first tournament. They're a brand new team in a new esport, huge for 100 Thieves, and so of course, like they're gonna come out swinging with some trash talk. but difficult situation for Shahzam there, and like I can see where he's coming from as well, and so it's just hard overall.
And I think it's worth mentioning these two have gone back and forth for years and years. I think even Shahzam knows that none of that trash talk was pertaining to the loss of his father, but you also see his side that point in time. I mean, that is what he was dealing with.
Right.
So I certainly understand both sides, and you got to keep in mind, despite this being, it's certainly a good talking point for that rivalry, but it certainly has its sensitivities to it. Hopefully in the future, we're going to see Sentinels, 100 Thieves continue to go back at it. I would not be surprised if they continue to trash talk each other, and hopefully it'll be around some less sensitive time areas. Obviously, Shahzam coming away with the recent win, as Sentinels do win the first major. We'll see if 100T can bounce back and continue to trash talk. And yes, we got to talk about it. A gigantic Valorant buyout this early on. The game is pretty much a year in, has made so much progress, and we are already talking about a freaking potential $1 million plus buyout of TenZ. Clearly, he is interested in playing with Sentinels. I don't think anyone is surprised by that. They just won the big old major, and they are the most dominant team in North America. Why would he not want to join them? The giant lingering question, is he worth $1 million buyout? Will Cloud9 even sell him? And is Sentinels willing to pay that gigantic figure?
It's so difficult because it's so early in this game's lifespan to say, like, I don't know, is $1 million a good deal for him, or is it like a really awful deal? At this point in time in the game's lifespan, like, could you just pick up someone else for not $1 million and be, fine, like maybe a rising star? I mean, everyone's so new to the game that you really have no idea how it's going to play out.
Yeah, and then you start throwing in all the different side points, whether or not Cloud9 will sell, whether or not Sentinels can offer the right amount of money. Let's say Sinatra does get cleared. I mean, there are so many different angles on this. Shroud has mentioned $1 million. Doc has said $1 million. Fion said it was $1 million at the point of Masters. God knows what's in the contract. We assume the buyout's probably going to stay the same, but we don't know what's in TenZ's contract. It's just crazy because he is, in my opinion, by far and away the most valuable player right now. He's a giant creator, a giant streamer, has a great fan base, especially given the recent controversy, which he stepped back in for. The dude took a competitive break from Cloud9, was like, just not good enough for me, to stream, came back, and won the major. Like, you can't really draw up a better storyline for this, despite the unfortunate circumstances with Sinatra. If you're Valorant, you're like, this is incredible. And speaking of the Devils in Riot, I would say easily the spiciest story that we have seen probably in the last few weeks, which is crazy because we've covered the Lunar Cat situation, and there's been so much going on between like TSM and 100 Thieves and all this drama, and Riot Games issuing fines, one of those fines falling on 100 Thieves, who of course got to use a social media presence to talk more about the situation, which kind of seems to have bit back on them. If you guys want a brief TLDR, a competitive ruling was issued against 100 Thieves coach Frost for threatening to leverage their social media players or the players' social media against Riot Games if they were disqualified. There's a lot of nuances on the whole ping issue, but either way, 100 Thieves, they bounce back. They deny that statement. They post a 4-minute video of comms, and then Riot bounces back again saying, hey, that 4-minute video is nice, but what we're talking about was not in that clip, even though the coach has admitted to us personally. We have 3 witnesses, and then 100 Thieves has supposedly denied sending them the full video.
Yeah, that's so, like, even watching it unfold, we have no idea what's going on the whole time because like it just feels so back and forth because at first, Riot comes out with this statement about them and like what their coach did and said, and then we're like, oh, like I guess we're on Riot's side of this. And then 100 Thieves comes out and releases their video, and everyone's like, oh, it's so great, like to see him going for bat for his boys, like this is awesome, like Riot sucks. And then Riot comes back and is like, no, actually we have witnesses, and he admitted to it as well, and they didn't provide everything from that video, and you're like,
I really liked the way that I don't understand how Riot Games could have posted any other way, but they just tweeted again and said we consider this case closed, and then edited it with their proof of 100 Thieves not sending the full video. They have witnesses and an admission by the coach. It just seems like a pretty cool way to end what was so spicy. And so I guess we'll see what happens to the future of 100 Thieves. A lot of people out there kind of scared for how Riot's going to treat 100 Thieves going forward because of this. Hopefully it was peaceful on their end. For everyone else, it was heck entertaining. As per usual, we hope you guys all enjoy the Respawn recap. My name is Jake. This guy's name is Hunter. He's still very new here. If you want to follow him on social medias, we'll be back here next week with a Respawn recap. Ready to, let's go?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm ready. Let's go. Adios.